the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work, trump tight all day, every day, yeah. You're blowing my mind, maybe in time, baby, I can get you with my rhyme. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. She's got class and style, knowledge by the pound. A baby never act wild as you're very low-key on the profile. Catching feelings is a no, and let me tell you how it goes. Herbs the word, spins the verb, lovers it curves, so freak what you heard. Rolling with Lorenzo, you don't even know what the half is. You got to pay to play, just for shorty bing bing to look your way. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to take it, Lorenzo. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up, yeah. I like the way you work it, no diggity. I like to bag it up.
No diggity. Something else.
What's that?
Something else a little faster.
Very good, very good, very good.
A little something faster.
I know, that's what it is.
Hold on tight. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, here at Namaste, we feel some kind of way, something about. We say we love, we really love. See you, we care. Please be yourself while you're here. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. namaste, we feel some kind of way, something about. We say we love, we really love. We see you, we care. Please be yourself while you're here. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. Namaste, we feel some kind of way, something about. We say we love, we really love. It's true. See you, we care. Please be yourself while you're here. That's exactly what. That's exactly what. That's exactly what keeps me coming back. Keeps me coming back. Ow!
Woo! Hello, hello. Hello, namaste, and Seal Beach. Yo, diggity.
Yeah.
That was a first. Loved it, loved it. Thank you, thank you. It's all God, right? It's all God. So, welcome to our Sunday afternoon service. We are so grateful that you are here today joining us, whether it's in person in our beautiful sanctuary or whether it is online. We are so glad that you are here. We are a radically welcoming community. We believe all paths lead to an awakening. We are here collectively revealing that love is the nature of who we already are. And I say yes to that. When you came in, you may have received a prayer card. And if you want your prayers included in the practitioner prayers this week, please fill out the prayer card and leave it in the foyer on your way back. If you need a prayer card, please raise your hand so that we can get one to you. Okay, all right. So, in honor of Black History Month, I'd like to read from Dr. King's Beloved Community. Dr. King's Beloved Community is a global vision in which all people can share in the wealth of the earth, In the beloved community, poverty, hunger, and homelessness will not be tolerated because international standards of human decency will not allow it. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice will be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. Yes, I love that. And next, I want to read you the Centers for Spiritual Living's Global Heart Vision, which was based on Dr. King's Beloved Community. I'd like to ask you if you would like to close your eyes as I read this and go within, because this is the vision that we hold not only for our center, but globally for centers throughout the world. All right. So let's close our eyes and go within. We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the merging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. And this is who we are as Global Centers for Spiritual Living. Take a deep breath in, slowly exhale it out. And although I will say that we are not perfect at it, it makes me proud to be a part of this vision for what we stand for as we grow together and work and take actions towards meeting this global heart vision. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, as you are able to, I invite you now to please stand, dance, crawl on the floor, whatever you'd like to do. Here we go. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. The person next to you, say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love.
On every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together in the name of love.
Look at the person next to you.
Yeah.
Say, Namaste.
love you
Now
too.
feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love. We come together.
We come
together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
In the name of love. In the name of love. Name of love.
Good afternoon. I'm used to saying good morning at our services. I now invite our minister support practitioner, Jackie, to come on up.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, yes, I am. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good afternoon. Please join me in reading our affirmation. There is only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life is my life now.
So let's take this moment to go within. And in this next breath, let's bring ourselves in alignment, knowing that that is the true gift, because it brings life and all that comes from it, all possibilities. And so I ask you to go and stay in that place of stillness at the center of your being, emptying ourselves of anything that does not belong, and open to the recognition that God is our source, the power that has birthed us and that walks with us through every circumstance, everything we feel, think, and act upon. This magnificent presence is here now as me, as each one of us. And we know that we are held in the arms of our beloved. Just take a moment and feel that. That beloved is cradling us. Surrounded in the infinite sea of grace that divine love provides, I now affirm that divine wisdom is unerring and requires us to seek it, to know it, to trust in it, and to act upon it. The light of God removes every shadow that keeps us from a clear path of understanding, so that we may move forward into the mystery that awaits us as we know and accept our greater yet to be, individually and collectively. With the trust and innocence of a child, we follow our true north and give it permission to lead us toward a greater vision and unfoldment that brings joy, freedom, fulfillment, and deep peace. In gratitude for the gifts that are abundantly given by all who participate in the unfolding of this service, I release these words now into divine mind, convinced of their truth as I stand in the expectancy of good, absolutely knowing and accepting that all is well and we are blessed. And so it is.
Good afternoon, Namaste. My name is Susan Kalak. I'm on the Board of Trustees here at Namaste, and this is
Marjorie Ray, Chairman of the Leadership Council at Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living.
And before we get into our announcements, we invite you to stand up and say hello and see if you can find someone new to meet. Once the music stops, please go back to your pews. Didn't do that.
Do that, or we're gonna...
And now it's time to find our places.
Use your teacher voice, Susie.
We're finding our seats. It's at this time that I invite you to join Marjorie and I in repeating this mission statement, or not repeating, but reading with us.
Yes.
Through mindful and respectful exploration, we are creating a healthier foundation that supports and engages a whole beloved community equipped to launch new strategies for a thriving spiritual center.
Wow.
I think we could just go home now. We've done it. We've done the work. No. So how do we do this? We awaken to the truths of our life. We realize these truths. We transform our lives based on these new truths, and we repeat the process each time, going deeper and deeper. Power statements: we are a place of connection, healing, and unity. We are Namaste and Seal Beach.
Yay.
And this stuff works. And just in case you didn't know, this is Collaboration Sunday. And after service, we invite you to join us in the fellowship hall for some snacks and then the community meeting to update you on what our exploration teams have been up to the past month.
And we have a wonderful class being presented starting January 23rd, which is just this Thursday. It is called Essential Earnest. It is an accredited class, and if you're looking to be a practitioner, this is one of the required classes. I love Jesse Jennings. He wrote the book, and he has an article in the Daily Guides, Science Mind Daily Guides, and he does a magnificent job of making earnest understandable. Because earnest sometimes is hard to understand, and he somehow makes it much more understandable. It's a great class. I recommend it to everyone, and both our newsletters have got links to how to sign up.
And Marjorie, is it going to be on Zoom?
Oh, yes. Thank you. By the way, it's going to be on Zoom on Thursday night, 6:30 to 8:30?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. Thank you.
And there's 2 sessions, so when
Right.
you sign up, just be aware of that.
Yeah. And then, March 5th, we have a Daniel Nahmod concert. How many of you know Daniel Nahmod? Oh, yeah. He is going to be our house musician for the Sunday service, and then after service at 11:30, he's going to do a 1-hour concert. It's $20. You can sign up. Once again, both of our newsletters will have a link to click to sign up, or you can sign up at the door. It's $20. Daniel Nahmod is just amazing. He's such a spiritual.
I also heard that there's some tickets on sale today in the foyer after service, which I think might even go into the fellowship room. So
Yes,
get your ticket while you can.
I see hands up there saying that's exactly what's happening. And I have one more announcement for Seal Beach. We are having our annual meeting next Sunday after service. That's the 29th, I believe.
How many of you have read The Shack or seen the movie? So I'm excited to say that we will have the author of The Shack, Paul Young, at our spiritual soup in March, which is the 4th Wednesday of the month. That's March 22nd, so mark your calendar so you don't miss it. There'll be information in the newsletter so that you can sign up using Eventbrite, and then we hope to see you on the 22nd at 7 o'clock to hear what Paul Young has to share. During the week, you can get spiritual support by calling in and joining the practitioners on the spiritual call each weekday morning at 7 a.m. You can also join on Zoom. It's a great way to start your day with a reading, some sharing, meditation. There's also on the second Wednesday a grief support group on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Our lives are filled with grief. It may always not be major. It may just be something small. And when you need that support, this group is here to support you. And for our thank yous, first of all, thank you to Seal Beach for inviting us to join them last Sunday at 10 a.m. so that we could go to the Super Bowl. Also, a thank you to Rev Guy Williams, who gave the message last week. His talk inspires us to be curious rather than judge, and he also reminds us that we create our own perspective of reality. So bring forward the unseen to the seen. And lastly, thank you to Valerie Day and her guest, practitioner Pat Fromer. There was a workshop this past Saturday where we made beads, prayer beads. A few people were here with them. I forgot mine at home, but take a look around. You'll see people wearing a string of beads around their neck. It was a great experience. And now, back to our illustrious musicians.
Thank you so much. I want to welcome back Melissa officially. It's so nice to have her.
In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there's unspoken joy. In the silence, there's relief from a world full of chaos and noise. I awake
to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. Oh, in the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world filled with chaos and noise. These precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, and I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. Oh, yeah. In the silence there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, yes, I do. I find God. I find myself.
Hello, my name's Bill Haskett, and when I think about living in the mystery, I think about my daily life. I am surrounded by the mystery. Ernest Holmes, in his book, Science of Mind, talks about something called the law that is always impersonal, always listening to us, and it activates what I think of as the machinery of creation. And we invoke this machinery of creation by everything we think, everything we say, everything we feel. It is, as Jesus once told us, that if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could tell a mountain to move, and it would move. So that's the mystery. How does that happen? But it does happen. I have an example from my own experience that I think is pretty clear. Phenomenal demonstration of this mystery. My wife and I live about an hour south of here, and I had a job in Torrance, just a little north of here. And she worked in Long Beach off Atlantic Boulevard. So every day, we're in the carpool lane, and I have like a quarter mile to get over 4 lanes of heavy traffic and pleasant drivers to get to the off-ramp. And this one day, I just had a thought. I just visualized, I sort of let go of how, I let go of when, and I just thought, I visualized. It wasn't even a verbal thing. I wasn't pleading with anyone. I just visualized a path from the exit of the carpool lane directly across the freeway to the off-ramp. So we get to that place, and suddenly everything slows down. It's like the world has suddenly shifted into slow motion. And every car straight across slowed down as if a giant invisible arm had come out, and they all slowed down behind me. And the other cars moved forward, and I had a space of 20 feet across 4 lanes in heavy traffic, and I effortlessly steered over as if, yeah, this happens all the day, every time, all the time. And so I don't have any special training. I am a practitioner, so I'm always practicing, but it's something we do, every one of us, all the time. And all you have to do is have that intention and don't have any doubts or plans around it. Just set the intention and then listen to Spirit, and that mystery will find you.
So my name is Rachel, and I've been thinking long and hard about mystery, and it occurred to me that I have more or less lived most of my adult life in the mystery. And I was reaching back to some teachings that I had many decades ago with a shaman with whom I was studying. And as is in that culture, they teach in circles, in wheels. And the 2 directions that called to me about mystery were the place of the South and the place of the West. And in the South is the place of the child. And the child is described as the trust and innocence and having the wonder and the awe. And when I think of mystery, mostly I think of trust. And so I think I've always brought that childlike trust and wonder, and the result of which is awe with me. And then it feeds into the West, which is the place of introspection. It is the place of magic and mystery and the going within. And it just seems so appropriate that when you plant a seed and it's deep in the earth, it's in darkness, and yet something flowers from it. And we benefit from the beauty and the joy and the sustenance and the shade of the trees. And all that goes on without the light of day and without our being able to see it. So we know that something is working, and that requires trust when we see that it works and we have nothing to do with it. Somehow there's this vital energy that makes it all come together and work for us. And as Holmes has always said, it works for us and never against us. So when I came to this path of shamanism, that was also a path of mystery in my life. I decided something in me wanted to learn about crystals at the time, and everywhere I looked that people were teaching didn't fit with me. It just didn't seem to settle until a friend of mine told me she saw an ad and these people were teaching about crystals, and it was in the environment, in the context of this shamanistic teachings, and I thought, that feels right to me. And when I showed up for that weekend, I had some mind-blowing experiences with crystals, And that led me to this whole time of my life, 15 years about, of teachings and working and learning and being blown over and over again by things I didn't know were possible. So my message is that the mystery is what draws us, and we have to follow our true north inside to allow us to go, even when our head doesn't know why. It doesn't have answers, it only has questions. So we need to stay in touch with that part of us at the center of our being and know that that is unerring. It is the truth, and it shows us over and over again where we need to go and what is our next indicated step. And I've been blessed by that all my life, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying.
Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we got to find a way.
Gotta find a way
to bring some love in here today. Oh, Father, Father, we don't need to escalate.
Oh, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way. We gotta find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh,
picket lines,
sister,
and picket signs.
sister,
Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on?
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 What's going on? Take it, dance.
Father, 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 everybody thinks we're wrong. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Just because our hair is long. You know we've got to find a way to bring some understanding here today. Yeah, picket lines
And ticket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Sing with us. What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on? Sing it.
I feel like I should drop the mic on this music team, right?
It is a mystery how music just resonates in our souls so easily and brings us together. It is really remarkable.
I know, and to get John to dance,
There's that.
there is that you so want to. Your hips want to go there, but your head won't.
I think you're right. So for me, the mystery is very evident in nature, and it's easy to see there in so many different ways. And this month, we're talking about curiosity. So I've always had a curiosity about all aspects of nature. And if you're really into it, I suggest a book. It's called Tinker at Pilgrim's Creek by Annie Dillard. It'll blow your mind. She won a Pulitzer Prize for it lots of years ago. But anyway, for our theme this month, we're talking about curiosity, and do we have the curiosity to delve into a mystery? And as I said, for me, it's in nature. And, we have our theme of the oyster, the world is your oyster for this month. So did you know, to pique your curiosity, did you know that they estimate, they being science, estimates that in the 1800s, the number of oysters in the Chesapeake Bay was able to filter the entire volume of the Chesapeake Bay in 3 days. Now that time frame is 526 days. So an oyster is a filter feeder. It takes in junk, heavy deposits of nutrients and whatever it is, and purifies the water. And as we've heard, it also can take in something and it gets stuck. And by a natural order of things, a pearl will form inside of the oyster. And I like to think, we're much the same way, is that we have this world of effect and we're filtering all that stuff all the time, constantly. And some of it we can pass through and let it go so that it doesn't have an impact on anything, but sometimes things get stuck in us. And by a natural order of things, if we're doing our spiritual practice, by a natural order of things, the things that we take in that irritate us don't kill us. Instead, what happens is they're transformed into something different, something that is valuable. And we call it a pearl. But to me, the really exciting part is this. The oyster doesn't care about the pearl. The oyster doesn't even know the value of the pearl. It is only when it is open that the beauty of the pearl is seen. So how does that resonate with us? The mystery is that there is a pearl inside each and every one of us. And until we open ourselves up to expose that to the other, is the pearl seen. And so we all carry that jewel within us if we are awake to that personal transformation that is part of who we have come here to be.
Part of what happens additionally on that is the fact that we don't recognize that as things, sometimes we don't, that when things happen in our life, we immediately go to being a victim in our life. That's kind of what happens a lot as a practice. All of us do it. And it's not a judgment, it's just part of our nature, sometimes with respect to how we've evolved. Now, that pearl that's in the oyster is also created from everything that's already in the oyster. There's nothing, that irritant that comes in, it's not that becomes the pearl. It's what the oyster coats the irritant in. And it coats it from all that's already within it, its shell and what's in the shell. It doesn't take more of the outside It's the gift, that beautiful jewel within it is already there. Everything to create that pearl is already within that oyster. So one of the things about that is, I think Brene Brown said it so beautifully. She says, what we know matters, but who we are matters most. I loved it what Reverend Guy said last week, which is information has become entertainment. Remember that from last week? We need to be entertained. We've become an age of entertainment instead of the fact of who we are. And it isn't just the younger generation. We can blame them. We can point at them. But we do it too.
We
And
set it up.
We do set it up. We set it up. In fact, we created the technology that is distracting them. What's that about? And then Surya Das said the pearl principle, no inner irritation, no pearl. Now, what does that make you think? If we didn't have some of the things that have been happening, so let's just talk about 2020. Can I talk about 2020?
Please
My
do.
gosh, right? If I must, thank you, Jesse, I know who you are. We had a global pandemic declared on March 11th, and over 350,000 people died that year from the pandemic, and that was in the US alone. My favorite, we had a toilet paper storage. I think I provided a few of you with toilet paper during that time. Just happened to have a great delivery just before that. During 2020, 17% more people died over years 2017 through 2019. And it isn't just from the pandemic. There was an increase overall. I find that to be interesting. George Floyd was killed on May 25th and sparked protests and conversations about systemic racism, and the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement started. It was a challenging time and continues to be around that. The deadliest wildfires in history were in both the US and Australia. Our planet was literally burning. Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed. The Me Too movement was highlighted in the sentencing of 23 years in prison of Harvey Weinstein, which passed almost quietly. It was the beginning of a huge shift. And the presidential election, the highest number of people turned out at the polls since 1900. 66.7% turnout at the polls. Those are just things that showed up during 2020. So we had all these things happening, and I'm going to guess that each one of us have had something happen during the last 3 years. Would you say that, John?
Well, and, you know, prior to the pandemic, there was such political divisiveness and revving us all up. And then the pandemic hit. And so I believe that we're still suffering the effects of PTSD, of the effects of this tremendous thing that it seems that the culture is trying to get back to the old ways of how it used to be. And that seems unlikely until we really understand what we've gone through and speak to it honestly and openly.
So we're going to walk you through something that we'd like you to try. We don't have a whole lot of time, so we're going to ask you to be succinct. John, would you introduce it?
So we're going to ask you to find a partner and think about your own life in terms of your work, your relationships, and your living situation, all that you've gone through in the past 3 years, and to figure out what were the 2 top significant events that you experienced and talk and figure out whether that was grief or discomfort or whatever it was in 2 or 3 categories. And think hard on that. And it's an invitation to do that. If you want to do it on your own, you could journal about it. But what we discover is when you say it out loud to someone else, the nature of it changes. And so, you want to demonstrate that?
I'd love to. Right in front of all of you. How's that?
So what were your events that caused you grief or discomfort?
Over the last 3 years, in fact, this last year, I lost 2 brothers within a month. Tragically. It was one to alcoholism, the other to suicide within 30 days. It wasn't the loss of them that was the most difficult. It was the tragic nature of their passing. I knew it would happen. And you kind of carry that as you reconcile the feeling of losing 2 loved ones like that. And the other one was, as a minister, I was completely overwhelmed over the last 3 years with feeling alone. Our community changed and shifted, our work teams disappeared, and it became incredibly challenging for me through the pandemic. How about you, John?
Well, for me, it was really set up the year before because my wife and I were co-pastors of our center in Orlando, and we had resigned in 2019. We moved to Atlanta to take care of Kath's cousin, and we were newly empty nesters. And so we were changing our personal relationship, our relationship with Kath's cousin, with our son, and figuring out what was next for us. And so Walter passed. We thought we'd be there for 10 years. He passed in less than a year. So we were grieving, and Kath was executor of the will, so we had to take care of all of that stuff. This was all new. We were opening up to all this uncertainty. And Kath had been doing a couple of interim consultings, and then I started in January of 2020 with Las Vegas as their interim minister. And, you know, it was really great to meet new people. But immediately what happened, of course, was the pandemic. And we started out, you know, really optimistic and, well, we can do this. But for the first time in my life, I gave a talk before in a sanctuary with no one present. And that is anxiety provoking. To not have any cues from the audience to know whether you're making sense or not. And then by March, the governor said, we're shutting down the state. I was in an Airbnb, and my wife was at home with her daughter and the 2 grandkids, house filled with females with no toilet paper. And I looked through the cabinets in the Airbnb, and there were 2 cases of toilet paper. So I packed my suitcase with toilet paper, and I got out of Dodge. But for a minister, this was really traumatic because I didn't know how to help the community that I was their interim minister. And so there was that uncertainty and the feelings, because that's the next part, the feelings of loneliness and not being good enough and in uncertainty and questioning, all of that was rising up. In that period too, my mother a year ago also passed. So we were grieving Walter, who you couldn't go into the hospital to see when he passed. And then my mom just recently. So it's such a mix of emotions and circumstances that I've never experienced for this amount of time.
It's interesting that a lot of what John just spoke to as far as feelings, depressed, concern, unsure. Talk about living in the mystery, right? I sat in front of a camera for almost 18 months with not even a person in the room except me. So we both walked through a host of things, and we know that you have too. So have you found a partner? Yes. Great. So here, do you see what's above? You have 3 minutes, and then you're going to switch. If you're not going to do it, it's okay. You may just sit and contemplate.
It can take 3 minutes to find a partner.
So I'll let you know when you switch. You're going to get about 2.5 minutes right now. So maybe we should talk more about the feeling first.
Well, we can do the hurt people, pain not transformed is transmitted. And it's all around feelings.
I was reading this yesterday. Was doing this that if we don't reveal our pain, we cannot heal it. By just looking it in here and talking around it without the intention of let me talk to you about this feels like. What did I really feel?
And could introduce the care group as this is the concept. This is why it's so important. Because we're not going to heal if we don't do this.
Looking at time as my clock got knocked over. You have 50 seconds, and then we switch. What are you guys doing? You got 20 seconds. Okay, switch partners.
I love having a timekeeper.
All right, you have a minute left for the other person. What does that exactly mean, the other person?
I think that's why they say A's and B's. The revealing and the revealer.
"30 seconds. So just close up your share, but stay with your partner. Stay with your partner. Thank you, Terry. I did it just for you. Make yourself at home. Put your feet up, but not on the furniture. Okay. So just thank your partner for just the moment and turn forward. So now you're going to just do this next. So here we go. What feelings did you have as a result of those? And I was telling John, can I just circle that whole last column? Anybody want to join me on that one? That whole last column: shame, sorrow, stress, suffering, sympathy, unhappy, woe, that's what I was feeling. That's what I was feeling. And a few others: sadness, insecurity, defeat. I wasn't even sure how to, typically you have an experience in Sunday service, you have an experience with folks, but those things usually pick me up, my personality. I couldn't do that. Right? Couldn't do the typical things that picked me up. I would play volleyball, and the women's group, of course, shut down and has never come back. So I think I've spoke about that in the years prior. And so those very things that typically helped pick me up were gone. How about you, John?
Well, the feelings, humiliation, sadness, shame, disappointment, many of the same that you had mentioned, both professionally and personally. And I guess being in isolation and not really being able to share that with another person. I mean, your significant other, you only want to go so far because otherwise, you'll both be crying.
Or it could end suddenly.
Exactly. And in the reality, that's what happened to a lot of families, that it just broke them up. And I think acknowledging this is really critical to our spiritual growth.
If we can't talk, the most difficult thing for most anyone is to describe how we're feeling. And a lot of that is because English is a language of ideas, not feelings. So it's really hard for us to put into words what we're feeling, which is why the list. So you had a place to start from. And any of those feelings have been reasonable, but if we don't speak to that, we cannot heal it. We have to reveal our pain to heal our pain. We cannot just keep it over here, not look at it. We have to look at it. Which is why, John?
Because if we don't do that, we're practicing spiritual practice in terms of treatment, then what happens is we're coming from a place where those feelings are the predominant things that are driving that creative expression. And so as we clear the decks, as we can clear the decks of our feelings, we're opening up our hearts and minds to the greater innovation, creativity, and possibility that is always there, except for our reluctance to get our stuff out of the way.
The other part, too, is when we don't deal with something, it actually lodges within our bodies. And it doesn't go anywhere. And it builds and builds and builds. As practitioners, we listen. We ask questions to understand and help guide people through that so that we can dislodge it and or see the pearl in it, which is the point. So John, why the care model, which is what we're doing in community?
So the care model is an opportunity to get real in our conversations in our community, to be able to sit down and have the difficult to have conversations within the guidelines, with certain guidelines. There's a competency to be mastered, to learn, to develop this ability to be present to the other person, to see that pearl within them and to acknowledge and validate that. But it takes time. It takes time to build trust in a relationship, and I give you a lot of credit for being willing to sit down with someone right here and talk about something that's very difficult. But the question is, did it help? Do you feel lighter by having that opportunity? And see, that's where we start to move when we do this kind of work. And it has now become part of our exploration team, and it's really changing the way we look at things, because we're looking at, what is this hardness of head and heaviness of heart that is moving through me? Is it chronic, or is it just a dramatic incident? If it's chronic, then we really need to address it in a different way.
So go back to your partner. You're going to have exactly about 2.5 minutes. And I want you to look at this list. This is not a complete list, obviously, but it gives you a place to start. And I want you to name the feelings that you continue to carry or have carried that you'd like to let go. All right, now go to your partner.
Okay.
The first question, just swipe. This is the first question, and then you swipe the second one.
Okay.
Okay, we got about 15 seconds. Okay, here we go. Let's everyone turn forward. Thank your partner. First question's up. So, you want to read it, John?
All right. Are you ready? How have I, or having I honored myself during this time? How have I honored myself during this time?
Now, we're going to ask folks to share, so I'm just going to ask you be succinct, okay? So you heard John's question.
Extra therapy and extra prayer.
Amen to that one, right? Can I get an amen? Yeah. One more person. Who else has honored themselves, or have you honored yourself? Sylvia.
My practitioner, my minister, and 12-step program.
Another amen on that one. How have I or have I honored others during this time? Yeah, that's a little bit big old breath right there. I'll come back to you, Ray.
Listening.
Listening.
In the most challenging of times, I've tried to see God in everyone.
Yes. Next question. What have I learned about myself during this time? Oh, I'm still learning.
I'm a lot stronger than I thought it was.
Resilient. There's a whole talk on that.
I am love.
Thank you. Next question. What are my options and opportunities to work through what has transpired to transform this experience? What are my options? What'd you say? Practitioner. Therapy. Good friends. A walk. Wine. What did you say?
Margarita. Margarita.
A margarita.
Wine and chocolate.
Being there for others.
Being there for others. Next one, John.
Honoring that I might not be over it. Like honoring where I'm at.
Good. Good.
Getting angry. I got angry. I let myself get angry. Right?
Why would you do this kind of work?
Freedom. Healing. Self-acceptance. Peace. Self-love. Growth. Family. Intimacy.
Are you ready to commit to that? That's right. Good answer.
Did you say why? You did say why. That was what it was, huh? Yeah. So the care model is an opportunity for us to come together as a community and walk with one another more intentionally, more intimately, and to truly understand how to be there for one another and how to be there for ourselves. Any last words, John?
I think you're all doing a great job.
And the only last thing we're going to say is, this was a talk I gave, which I plan on doing it again, and I'm right before the pandemic, literally 2 months before the pandemic. And this was an opportunity to allow myself to screw up. So I want you to say this with us. Are you ready? I agree to practice self-love and non-judgment for myself. Screw it up, circle back, clean it up, and try again. Can we say that one more time? I always think once is good, twice is better. Are you ready?
I agree to practice self-love and non-judgment for myself. Screw it up, circle back, clean it up, and try again.
And so it is.
And so it is.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash for somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle neath your skin. Keep it on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes the shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there. Everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling for the fear and done some disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. But don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Innocence, a history of silence won't do you any good. Did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Yeah. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave.
Yes, thank you so much, music team. That was the perfect song.
Melissa.
That was the perfect song. Yes, we were brave. We were brave right now. That took some courage to have that discussion. Thank you, Bobby and John, for guiding us through that. Yes. And I also want to offer that if that brought anything up for anyone, if you're not feeling safe right now or it stirred something up, please don't hesitate to see a practitioner after service for support. I want to tell you that you are safe. You're in a safe place, and we're here to support you. Could our practitioners please raise their hands just so everyone can see you? So these are amazing practitioners. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes. So we're here to support you. So if you need a little extra support after service, please grab one for prayer. Sorry. Sorry. So let's move on. So it's time for our giving and offerings. And I just want to invite you to, that, tithing and giving is a spiritual practice, and that as we give, so shall we receive. And we know this as a spiritual practice, but I also know that I love to give to where I am spiritually fed. And if today wasn't an amazing example of that, I don't know what is. We are so blessed in so many ways to have these opportunities for healing and growth and to be brave in a safe community. And so for that, I'm so grateful. So as we take our, if you'd like to participate in just a moment of gratitude, placing your hands on your heart and just taking a deep breath in, and just recognizing that for which you are grateful. It can be your family, your health, your job, your free time. Just taking the time to place your attention there, place your heart on that which you are grateful for. Knowing that our giving begins with gratitude. Yes. And taking another deep breath in, slowly exhaling. And as we open our eyes, we're going to say our affirmation together. Today, I allow the divine radiance within me to shine forth. I open my heart, and the light of Spirit pours into my surroundings, blesses me, blesses others, and blesses the world. We affirm this is true, and so it is, and so it is. And just remembering that we can give through Give Plus, Venmo, and to our respective websites for Namaste and Seal Beach. And thank you for all that you give. Reverend Bobby.
Thank you. And if I could just ask Jackie to come and take the candle. I have to be careful my words. They have such power. And as she takes that candle towards the back, I love how the light of this candle represents who we are. And as she takes the candle out, we now become the light that we bring to the rest of the world. So let's just anchor in that for just a moment. Thank you, Jackie. And let's do our benediction and close this. For those of you that are squirming in your seats, I know. Today's a special day. So I'm just going to invite you all to stand as we do our benediction. And we're going to close tonight with a little bit of Diana Ross for sure. So stand tall. Feel into this moment, the excitement of coming together and being together, healing together. I know something's happening, don't you? Yes. What is happening?
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
For those of you that have never been here before, yes, this is what we do. What is this wonderful thing happening called?
It's the thing called life.
Where is it?
Life is in my mind.
And?
Life is in my body.
And?
Life is all that I am.
And the reason I'm here is next.
Life is all that we are.
What am I going to do with it?
I accept it. Accept it. I am it. And I share it with all.
How am I going to do that? Hold on. next is our favorite. So reaching down to your toes. Come on, wiggle those toes. Feel that energy in your legs. Yes, coming up through your legs into your torso. As it moves into the top of your body, up to your head, feel that excitement because that is what gratitude is. So say with me on the count of 3 as if you've never said it before. 1, 2, 3.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Oh, yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. It starts with you, and it starts now. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can.
The world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just so little love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just so little love. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Oh, yes, we can. Hallelujah. Namaste. I bow to you.
So we have a town hall. Please exit out that way. Thank you all. And if you found a phone that somebody dropped, please give it to someone out in the foyer.
Mother, there's too many of you crying.
Ooh, brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying.
You know we got to find a way
to bring some love in here today. Oh, Father, Father, we don't need to escalate.
War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate.
You know we got to find a way.
We've got to find a way
to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and ticket signs punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on?
What's going on?
Tell me what's going on.
What's going on?
I can see what's going on.
What's going on?
What's going